Test, test, test. Test? Are we okay? Alright, good. Just had to see if that was working good. I hope not too loud. It might be. There'll be a little bit of an adjustment period, as it always is. You know how it be. We'll do this. We'll do watch later. So I can get some gameplay up. Hopefully it's not mess with anything. What do we want to watch or click? And we can watch this. And mute. Quickly mute. Watch. Oh, that's gonna be a weird issue, isn't it? Do this. This. Alright. God, I hope this is gonna be okay. This was what I mean. Every stream has been like, oh God, for me these last couple days. But you know, sorry, I'm adjusting the mic. But yes, hopefully it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. That's going good. Oh, I should look and see if everything is streaming. Let me see. That is streaming the perfect. This and this is also streaming. Come on, good enough. Okay. Do this over here, and then this over here, and then hopefully that should be fine when I do one of these. Where are you? Video? Come on, boom! It looks, well, right, well, why does that look like that? Why does that look like that? Alright, what if I take it away? Oh, I see, it keeps going up. Wait a minute. Can you message something again? Message something again, Red? I'll do it. Hi. Did that work? No. No, it must have been something else. Shit. Alright, I'll leave that there then. It's gonna be scuffed a little bit, but you know. No, it is. It's working. It's just it's working. Okay, good. It's working. Good. All right, we can take that away. Okay, why is that working now? And why is it all fucking weirdly gapped out? Shit. Why is it? One is supposed to be test. Hi, that was me. So why is that? It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Maybe not. Why does it say 2 here? I don't know, guys. The chat's gonna be gimped. Okay, the chat's gonna be severely busted. But ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Hopefully to take care of stuff. I've been doing my best. Okay, we've been trying essentially. What is good? Also, is the audio okay? Do you guys see anything weird? Like something's off? Hey Gran, maybe you can show the new update video for my time at Sandrock during the stream. Yeah, sure. Hit me up. Hit me up with the link in the chat. Although, guys, I do not have. Is this pointed up? It should be pointed up, but my clothes are so soft that it turns into silk. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, holy moly, I set a lot of stuff up this week. Also, I want to talk to Red about some of the streaming stuff that we did, that I tested and I did, because it's very strange. Like, one of the things is yesterday we streamed, and the footage on Twitch basically looked like infinitely better. It did have like a slight jitter to it, but that's like a frame rate fuck up basically. Like it'd be good, and the frame rate would like kind of twitch, and then it would stabilize. But it blew me away that like yesterday we had improved quality, like it was slightly improved. You guys, oh my god, guys, oh, I was wondering why like I was wondering why when we were playing Arizona Sunshine, because I thought we were all kind of getting into it almost, like the story, hearing the guy talk and say some random shit. We were all playing off that stuff, so we were able to sink in more, and it was fun. But I noticed yesterday, I was like, yeah, it's not quite like, I feel like people are just kind of like, we're talking about random stuff, not necessarily what's going on in the game, which is fine, but it's just not what was like in the previous stream. So then I looked, and sure as shit, how do I phrase this properly? Basically, the game audio wasn't coming through at all. and you guys, I think, heard something. Like, you heard slight sounds, but that was because my microphone, which is like this little guy, except it's on like it's attached to my head, it was basically picking up the audio coming from my helmet. My headset, that's what I hear, because it shoots it right at your ears, so it's a little bit of sound, but if you have a mic that's like here, it's not going to hit the trajectory of the sound. Anyways, by God, you can DM me the link in Discord if you want, Red. Oh, I see, yeah. Oh yeah, if you do that, that would work. We should make Red a mod. I don't know why Red's not a mod. Anyways, I just don't want everyone to be a mod. Okay? I want people to come in here and be like, oh, new stream, and then it's just nothing but, yeah, just but me, and a bunch of blue people. Then they're gonna feel left out, and I'm gonna feel obligated. It's gonna be a whole thing. But so many things to tell you guys about this week. I am ready to just word vomit all at you because there's so many things that I gotta get you guys up to date on. First thing, essentially, I set up my PC. Did I tell you guys this yet? I don't think I did. No, I did. Yeah, I did. I essentially got like a shitty capture card that I couldn't really use, and then I had to go back to my old Elgato capture card. I don't know if I told you guys that. Yeah, well, regardless, I had to do that. That sucked. So I wasted $40. Shitty. But then, I'm trying to like make it so that everything perfectly works in tandem. I DM'd you on. Sure, I'll go grab it. Give me a second. We'll have to go back to normal. One of these. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. It's only 3 minutes. It's fine. That's fine. It should be fine. Oh, all right. Oh, also, is this on properly? I should put this behind me probably a little bit more. Anyways, I don't want it to bend. This little tiny little cord that it gave me. Anyways, it looks so dark. It looks so dark. Give me a sec. Would this help? Where's my little cute remote? Would this help? I set this up. Okay, I gotta get real close to it. Is that helping? Add some light? Yeah! Is that helping? Turn off! Turn off, you son of a bitch! Oh, man. I gotta go like... No, it didn't turn off. I don't know. Is it doing anything? I think a little bit. Fucking sure, we'll put it on. If only you guys could see my setup, you'd laugh a lot. Okay, so let me start one story at a time. Okay? And then I absolutely want to hear what you guys got going on in a week. All of it, okay? Man, that looks so scuffed. Top right. You see that top, like, there? The chats. I can't just... Oh, we'll get into it. Well, it's gonna be a whole... I gotta, like... Also, I could, like, lower the camera. Anyways. Let me talk, okay? Get off me, okay? Here's the thing. And it's pointing straight up. God damn you. Okay, so let's start with one thing at a time. I've had this big ass light for such a long time. It's actually back there. If you guys want to see it, I'll get it for you. Basically, I've had this big light that's illuminated me for a long time when it comes to like doing face cam and stuff, because lighting is a big part of me just not looking like horrific, essentially. So I was like, got it. Let's get. We're gonna need a new light. So in the sea of like buying a PC and all these little tiny cords that come with it, another expense. But I thought I heard a lot of people talk about how LEDs are like amazing now. Like LEDs, people used to think LEDs heat up like crazy, and all that stuff. And honestly, you don't need a ton of lighting for things to look nice. So I thought, oh, okay, well, why don't we use LEDs? LED strips that I've seen around. They last probably like 5 years, they say, or 500 hours, so 5 years, they say. And I'm only going to be using it whenever I stream, so that probably more or less of that lifespan, probably. So I thought, sure. The issue is you run out of surface area to put the sticky LED tape. So I have basically taken my monitor, and it looks just like somebody wrapped a bunch of tape around it, essentially. There's no more black spots on my monitor. It is just LED tape, LED tape, LED tape, and then eventually I had to get creative. So then I took 2 chopsticks elongated my TV with 2 chopsticks going up like this, like wrong way, like this, and then I had to wrap the LEDs around that strip, which is actually much more efficient. That was much better of an idea. Anyways, talk grin. Thank you, Lone. But yes, that was a lot of makeshift making it work. It's just doing loops, just doing tons of loops. And now we have LEDs, I hope that are going to be okay. They're significantly less bad to look at. Having to look at some giant block of a light smash you in the eyes constantly, rough. LEDs reminds me of Christmas, baby. It's soft. It's like, it's not that bad. My eyes don't hate it as much. It also might be that because of my screen, my VR screen is an LED, I think. So maybe that's like your eyes just get used to getting blasted with light. I don't know. That was one thing. So that was one problem that I faced, was I was like, okay, my light's burning out completely. Our face cam looks terrible. I need to basically find a way to make this look not shitty. I also just spent a bunch of money. I would rather not drop another $130 on a big ass lamp like I did before. What's a good alternative for cheapo? And it was LED strips, and they look like they're working great, boys. I hope they don't overheat. I did look, and they said that they were cooler, and I think that's a misconception by LED strips at this point, because people are like, it's gonna burn your house down. The fun fact, they fixed that problem a long time ago. It's actually not that hot. It doesn't get that hot. That's why people stick them underneath their fucking carpet and shit, or they're these guys, this thing, the underneath their furniture. There we go. But that's one. So that was one problem solved. $40 or $30 LED strips. 5 years of use, good enough for me. I'm gonna have to rip off some tape in 5 years. Fine, problem for future me. Done. Okay. So that was one problem. The second problem I talked to you guys about beforehand, trying to get my gaming PC to my actual CPU. Let's do that. It was a lot of like MacGyvering stuff around, so I had to like delay my audio because I had to use my old capture card because the footage just looked too terrible. So I ended up using my old capture card. We were about like 3 seconds, give or take, delay on what we already were, which is essentially nothing because I always read the top, the middle, the whatever the chat is. I just try to give people attention and who I haven't talked to in a minute. So that's kind of how it works. It's my brain. I just want to make sure everyone feels like a part of the conversation in a group. So I never just read the bottom chat and like forget about whatever's above it sometimes. I just try to read as much as I can. So yeah, that never really affected us, the whole delay thing. It kind of does. It would be nice to have not a lot of delay, but what can you do? Anyways, so what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, also I didn't, oh fuck guys, I didn't check if there's anyone over at Twitch. I forgot to pull up that thing. Sorry. This. Oh good, no one's over at Twitch. We're fine. We're fine, okay. Back to the thing. So I ended up basically getting that working. So we're now streaming PC. That's what you guys see in the last 2 streams when we were streaming Arizona Sunshine, which was awesome. But then a new problem arose. That problem, oh wait, no, but before we do that, there was another problem. So I had the thing of being like, okay, I've just done more than I ever thought I could. Let me rewind slightly. I have always wanted to make a gaming PC. I've always wanted to do those kinds of things. But eventually you build it up in your head just enough to where it's worth kicking down the line. Like until you have to solve the problem, you kind of kick it down the line. So anyways, eventually I was like, okay, it was Boxing Day is happening or Black Friday's happening. I've been saving for 3 years. It's definitely time. I definitely have the opportunity to do it. But if I do it, I want to make it good. And I also was just getting information at the time that was really helpful. Like, oh, well, you could use your old PC and then make a really good new PC, and then have the benefit of both of those PCs that can do basically the same thing, but one much better than the other. But the other one could just be used for streaming. For like recording your stuff. Awesome. So that one made sense. Anyways, long story short, I did it. I did it with a lot of help from a lot of amazing people who were very, very sweet. It helped me with the process of like I think a massive chunk of buying a PC is just finding the parts, but which I thankfully got an out because I was very, very blessed by having a lot of people who had a lot of knowledge about what was good enough and what I needed for what I do. Thank you again to Red, Fluff, and everyone else in between who may have helped, especially the countless videos I watched on how to do everything. So anyways, I ended up piecing together this PC. It was not that bad, especially considering, again, I always kept going back to the thing that Fluff said, which is like, If you this whole like data analytics stuff that you've been doing and like researching and all that stuff sounds like a lot. So if you do that, this can't be more complicated than the PC thing. And it's infinitely easier, the PC thing, because at least it's guaranteed. Like, the issue with data acquisition is basically you're having to infer a bunch of patterns and come to a conclusion based on those patterns. Anyways, so this is at least like, slot what? Oh, this is what it's called? Oh, okay, this cord goes there. Okay, that took me like 3 or 5 or 10 minutes to figure out, but at least now I know that that's that. Cool, done, check, done. If I ever wanted to update my PC, I have that in my mind now, we're good. So anyways, check that off the list. So then the next thing I ended up feeling was I had basically this like kind of like I've been solving a lot of stuff. My brain's working like manic, fucking like next thing. Okay, here we go. It's so much. So then I was like, hey, I've been putting off moving over to Stream Elements or OBS. I've been putting that off for a long time. Basically, Stream Elements to me has been, I've never felt more like there's a parasitic leech of a service than I ever have with Streamlabs. Especially after they basically billed me $120 for like a year subscription, and I thought I unsubscribed from it. I put it on a delay. I told you guys about it. Anyways, getting a punch in the chest that is $120 deep out of nowhere sucks. Feels real shitty, okay? So that pissed me off already. And I already knew that they were kind of doing weird, shady stuff, especially with OBS being a free open source platform. They're kind of like taking something that is innately free, bolting on a bunch of like some good quality of life things, like the chat. I noticed how easy the chat is to get working on OBS or on Streamlabs, and OBS doesn't really have a good solve for it. But then OBS also has like much better solves for all of the other things. Like I didn't know that. I thought by getting Streamlabs, I was possibly getting a better experience because I was paying for some of it, and things like that. But no, there's plenty of infinitely better things that you can get on Stream Elements and OBS, like much more like access to tinkering and things, which was lovely. Anyways, so I ended up being like, okay, let me do that. Let me actually port everything over that we have on Streamlabs into OBS, because I'm already going to have to do that anyway when it comes to like getting everything situated with this PC, this new delay, recording, the whole shebang. So I did that. That was maybe a bad idea, because I had just mentioned that I have been getting a little manic. And I think that word's I'm using that word mostly as a joke. I'm not actually manic, of course. It's hard for me to describe. I was telling my close family member about this, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, how's everything going? Is everything going good? And I'm like, yeah, it's good. I did this thing, but I also feel like, I can't describe it, but like extremely agitated, like really, really wound. Like, I don't know how to put it. It's like a mixture of excited and frustrated, like just constantly. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like, and they're like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, no, I kind of like want to punch a wall. It's like one of those things. It's not like I'm not angry. It's just I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed, and I'm not gonna punch the wall out of like rage or like hatred. It's more out of just like, it's like I want to grab someone and shake the fuck out of them. You know what I mean? For like 5 minutes straight, because I'm like, I think the reason is because I'm 27, dude. I'm getting close to the age where it's getting harder and harder to change. So when you basically have to problem solve and like change 20 times in the last 2 weeks of having to be like, oh, here's a problem, we solve this. Oh, here's a problem, we solve this. Oh, here's a problem, we solve this. And that is like the series of making a PC, of setting up a streaming thing, doing all of this stuff is nothing but like, here's a problem, solve it. Here's a problem, solve it. Oh, you don't have that cord? You're gonna have to get that cord. How are you gonna get that cord? Oh, you may have that cord already. Go check that, see if you have that cord. And it's just like, bah. And it's so much of that, to where it ends up feeling like kind of crazy. So the idea of like, hey, even though we're already in this state, let's keep doing more. Let's reach even further, which is good. You should always kind of continue to reach and push yourself. But I was getting close to the wire of being like, oh god, no, oh geez. And luckily, we were able to set everything up. We're going. We're good. Boom. We're streaming. OBS is set up now. It looks good. I have my different like templates. Everything is set. I've actually got we have some new cool features that we can possibly dip into. Stream Elements has some fun things like whenever we spam an emote, it can have like a tally beside, which I kind of like. I managed to find a way to do well. So my big issue right now is I'm having a hard time basically keeping 2 overlays on screen. So like I want. Stream Elements doesn't have a good idea yet for how you basically do YouTube chat, which is annoying because Stream Elements knows how to do that. So you're like, fucking damn you, Stream Elements, you son of a bitch. But yeah, Stream Elements knows how to keep like YouTube on screen, and it looked pretty damn good. The thing that's frustrating is Stream Elements can do that for Twitch. So Twitch looks great. Twitch looks fucking gnarly good. Like when you guys comment, you're up there for 30 seconds, fink, gone, beautiful, you look cute, it's great. But Stream Elements, yeah, it doesn't do that for YouTube, or if it is, it's not working sometimes. I don't know if I have to like make Stream Elements a mod. I gotta troubleshoot some of that shit still. And then Red was basically Red brought to my attention. Yeah, on the first stream that we did, where basically it still looked blurry, and I was like, what's going on with that? I was kind of like, I was also at the point where I was kind of like, oh, you know, like when Red started telling me about it, I was kind of like, Red, I'm so tired. I can't get to it anymore. I can't try to solve another problem. I'm so withered and tired at this point. I haven't done anything that's fun, and for me, for 2 weeks straight. Like, not even a dime, maybe. Maybe I watched, like, a recap video, but most of it's been... And it's also not... It's just the quality of the intensity... Not the quality. It's the intensity of the... Here's an issue. Here's an issue. Here's an issue. Here's an issue. And you're like... Oh, you know? It's so much. And I'm on the tail end of it, which is why I'm laughing, because I'm like, oh, finally I can really, like, just kind of chill. Even just kind of chill would be nice. Anyways, so when Red told me about like how the stream looked blurry, and I will say it has always been one of those problems, like our streams kind of looking like blurry at times. It's always been one of those problems that to me is like, it's like that thing you just don't want to look at because the answer, it's almost like let it die. Like all of the answers that I could come up with were not great. Like one of them was likely that I need to increase my internet speed upload. Which it's really easy to increase your internet speed, at least in Canada, internet speed like download, but it's really hard to increase your upload. Usually it's like the thing that they always want to tell you, like, oh, upload will cost you a little bit more, all that stuff. Anyways, so that was the thing I didn't really want to see. But then I ended up finding out that actually I have 20 megabits upload, which is okay. It's not great by any means. 40 and above is pretty great, but that's like actual, your job is streaming. You can justify like having crazy upload because it's your whole job. You're making money from this, so to speak. And the money that you're making is easy enough to put it back in. But the thing with that is it was not, what do you call it? It was not, how do I phrase this properly? I kind of lost my train of thought in the same way. I ended up basically trying a bunch of stuff, and it was really weird. This is kind of what I wanted to quickly run by Red. That's strange. So yesterday we were streaming, and our YouTube stream still had that like weird blockiness to it. It looked good. It looked really good. But whenever there was like decent enough motion, which is what usually increases bitrate usage, which is what's transferring over online. Anyways, so it increased. Some parts in yesterday's stream looked kind of still blocky, like a little weird. Like there's this moment almost of like everything gets kind of muddy, or like square muddy, and then it gets back to normal when things are kind of still. But the weirdest thing is on the Twitch side of things, everything looked amazing. Now, how I'm actually streaming to two platforms is by basically taking the same like preset and sending it to Twitch as well. So it's really weird that like YouTube is getting blocky and Twitch is getting clear, despite Twitch, or despite it's the same signal, basically. You know what I mean? So that's really strange. So I was wondering what that was about. Now, Twitch did have its own problem. Twitch was basically having like a stutter issue, but at the same time, I think it was just a frame. I accidentally clicked on a button for Twitch where basically it was like not checking if it was not helping softening up that stutter essentially. Anyways, but I don't know what the heck that is. I thought maybe that's like, it must be the server that I'm pinging to on YouTube that's just like not really good at accepting my the like upload. I don't know, because it's annoying that it gets like that, like it's clunky. I'd rather it not, you know. I don't know, but it shouldn't be the case. Like I'm wondering if like I'm uploading to the furthest possible server, and Twitch has a server which is basically like really somewhat near me, so it's not nearly as bad. I don't know, man, but I found that just perplexing that Twitch, the same signal, Twitch is looking fucking immaculate, like great, like super good, and then YouTube is sitting there looking like it's still blocky and shit. I don't know, and I both had like 1080p on. I don't know. I did hear somewhere where like there is one other thing I could do, which there's basically in the 40 series. This is not really something you can do. It's too much money, but is either I get better upload, which I don't know if would help because I'm not really capping out at my upload right now, or I could get like it's a special encoder for a graphics card that basically lets you increase your bit rate while not increasing your uploads like efficiency. It's weird. So I think it's in the 40 series, which is shitty. But anyways, it was one of those things where I was perplexed. But the stream should look better now. I did do a bunch of tests. Like if you guys can only see my YouTube live stream thing, it's just bitrate test, bitrate test, where I was flipping on a bunch of stuff because a bunch of people say a bunch of different things. I kind of get an understanding of it now. But yes, hopefully it looks good. I still think it will look kind of shitty when there's just a fuck ton of movement and there's a lot of things that the game has to figure out. It's less bad here because I'm already kind of still, but when you're playing like an FPS and there's gunfire going on, there's like fast twitchy like animations clicking off, that shit can add up. But anyways, thank you for letting me ramble. That was my week. It was nothing but making sure we're okay for the next couple weeks. And making sure that's good. And yeah, also we have a lav mic. I'm not sure if the audio or the commentary is just that bad, or if it's okay. I don't know why I said that bad. But yes, we have a lav mic. This little guy. Hi, hello. It's not the one we use for our one streams, our VR streams. That guy is like it's an actual headset thing that you put on. But this one is just this little thing that's not pointed straight up because my shirt's made of fucking silk, some shit. It's made of like a polyester, so it's real thin. Anywho, now let me stop being a selfish, disgusting streamer who only talks about his problems and himself. It's been a rough week, okay? Sorry. Here we go. Also, what is good, Lone? Saying hi on Twitch. Appreciate that, Lone. Always like seeing if that's going good. Ray Papa, what's good? Ray says I wanted to have. I wouldn't have any idea what I'm doing. With what? With what? Ray says it looks good. It looks good dark, Grin? You know, is this too much? Like beforehand, it looked good too. Is this a bit worse? With the light or without? The dark to me looks too much. Like it's like you're a shadow wraith, etc. It's like yeah. Raid says I'm good, Lone. Just woke up like 20 minutes ago. Raid, it is 1 p.m. Okay, because we're a stream over here. I don't know why I hesitate. We should know that. And for you in the States, I believe it's like it might be 2 hours ahead of it, but it's the weekend, so fucking who cares? I guess it's true. That's fair. You won. Red says I'm good, Lone. Bought and watched a good movie this morning while eating breakfast. What movie was it? What movie was it? The Creator. What is that? I've heard that before. What is that? Nice. I heard about that movie. What's it about? Could you give me the pitch real quick? I tend to be locked in with some movies, but I don't know what that is. The Creator. Sounds like it's either like a biblical thing or it's like you're a content creator or some shit. Red says glad it was helpful. You were much extraordinary help. Says Red. I say that. Red says a PC problem can certainly pile up and be frustrating. Still infinitely better than console though. Yeah, well, to me the PC problem isn't like that's not even a problem at this point. Like the problem, yeah, the PC thing is not the problem. It is the especially like it'd be doing anything, like, you know, like it is something that you have to learn, but I think after you learn it, you're fine. But I don't think the PC problems. Maybe I should turn that back a little bit, because if your CPU is breaking and it's like the reason why your computer's crashing, and then you have to troubleshoot what that is, that can be a bit shit. That can be ass. But you know. Red says 1 FP and up using P or VP9 encoding, which is far superior. Yeah, I heard about people saying that, Red, where I don't know how. I'm not sure how to basically make it so that it's like forcing the YouTube to recognize that I'm streaming in 1440p. You know, I don't know how to make YouTube be like, hey. Or make OBS realize, like, do I put it in the stream output, or do I put it in the stream encoder thing, like the actual output section where you can actually set like rescale or something to this thing? I don't know. Lone says, also, I finished my commission, Grin, and the lady loved how it turned. That's awesome to hear, man. That's fucking sick. Again, I feel like that's something that, oh man, sorry, a lot of things happened in my head, but I read this book recently, and that book, I basically had to stop reading because I realized how much I forgot about the whole YouTube formula book I really loved. And how much important stuff was in there that I forgot, and I needed to get a refresher because I was starting to kind of veer off on what was making sense in my head when it comes to doing stuff in YouTube. So I had to go back and read that. But one of the books I was reading before that, the one I really liked, was called Future Proofing. And one of the things that it talked about was how it talks about entrepreneurship and stuff like that, which I know is not what you're talking about. But as soon as you mentioned like your commission went really well, it makes me think of like, yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize. Like the idea of at least creating a business or creating something as simply as I'm just going to find something that people value, and then find out how to basically reach those people who would value it, and then scale it after that. But it's basically is like it's as complex as I guess you want to make it, but it also could be extraordinarily dumb. Like that's one of my favorite things I remember hearing from PewDiePie when he talked about how him and Marzia do so well together. And he basically said, well, if you like someone enough, you'll figure it out. And so many people give you so many like love advice, this and that, but it was just a real simple way of putting it, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. As much as all the other complex stuff is probably also correct, I don't think I don't think it's incorrect to also assume that things can just be much simpler, you know, in that way. Red says the synopsis is too long to copy and paste lol, but the creator is basically a well done human versus sci-fi. Oh, I've seen it. Is it the one where he's like the little? It's like the little Asian boy who has like a fucking cyber thing on his back, and there's like a black guy who's trying to help him figure it out. And he kind of starts to realize, oh, we're all people. I really hope it doesn't have a Deus Ex Machina thing, whatever it's called. Because I really fucking hated that one. Now, as much as people are like, it's so good, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. The fucking ending of like, it's a synthetic robot that only can fucking pretend to feel, and in the meanwhile, it feels nothing and hates it all, and arguably it's fine because she was trapped, and it kind of makes it. I don't know. Yes, the female AI. Oh, it's the female AI. Yeah. Okay, but I thought it was a boy, but no, it's a woman. Gotcha. Let me tell you, a bald head and a child, rough. It's hard to distinguish. Lone says, I sent it in the Discord as well. The movie? No, the art. I can't wait to see it. We'll check it out at the end of the stream. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have not abandoned the meme time thing. I have just, I don't have a mouse that I can, like, basically extendo reach over here yet. I have one around here somewhere, but you know when you have, like, XX mouses? You throw them somewhere to be like, oh, maybe I'll use it in the future, and they're always like 15 cents because they come with like a PC thing. But yeah, I don't know where I put my one that's good, the one that's actually not terrible. It's like a, yeah, it's okay. Red says it was not nearly as depressing as Ex Machina. That's good. Okay, I'm hopeful for that. Because to me, I've always thought about, like, I don't know, I've always liked the AI thing as far as hope would be concerned. Because I always, and I think I've talked to you guys about this, but I feel like it's such a hard thing to talk about because it's weird. The AI debate and the AI conversation right now, to me, is very difficult to have a conversation with people because everyone is not speaking, I think, fairly about it, and it's because whenever I bring up some things I think about this, a lot of people jump in and be like, no, they'll kill us all, they'll do that, and that whole thing, and I'm like, one thing I get frustrated with this whole debate about AI and things like that, which there are criticisms 100%, I'm not saying that like it's vindicated or all that stuff. What I find is deeply frustrating about the whole AI argument is that people have accepted what is essentially another man's idea of something as being what is, and what is the only way that that is, and what makes the most sense that it is. So the idea that AI see human, immediately think human bad, kill everything on planet, is now just accepted as like that would just be what happened. Despite that makes, at least to me, individual talking here, doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Like the idea that people constantly shit on human like biology, like the biology that makes up the human body, and people like contrast that with like a robot, and they're basically like we're just useless. And it's like, are you fucking insane? Do you realize how complicated your stomach biome is? Do you realize how incredible? One of the reasons why human beings are so fucking ferocious is the fact that we can just sweat. The fact that our body self-cools. The fact that we can repair our own body when we are hurt, instead of having to rip from the world and put it back into our flesh and bolt it on or some weird thing. It's not to say that robots would be terrible, but it's to say that human beings have no fucking to me, it would make far more sense that if you were part of some sort of weird, technological thing that is very unbiased in how a human being's biology could be used, etc., you'd want to merge with those people, essentially, and probably calm them the fuck down and not be so fucking ape-like sometimes when they're angry and all that stuff. And then there's also the presupposition that there fucking be like completely neutral parties, like they'd feel like super calm. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like even if you give enough, like even we see that kind of in certain AI models that we're now seeing. If you give them enough like things to bang off of, like enough stuff to where they can actually come to a conclusion, those things involuntarily affect in like an emotionary response, or what seems like an emotional response. And yeah, I don't know, the whole AI thing to me, I could ramble about it a lot. It's one of those things that I just find frustrating, that so many people have just accepted what is, to me, not like the bedrock of what it has to be. Like, oh, if AI came to being, they'd kill all of us. Like, that's something that some asshole wrote in a book. Yeah, it's a good point. It's not like that's impossible from happening, but it's just annoying when people are like, "That's it, that's the thing." And I'm like, "Come on, man, that doesn't make any sense. Why you're so fucking meaninglessly useless?" Like that the person would be like, "Garbo," especially the thing that created me, Garbo. I could see them being like, "Hey, you need to chill, okay? You have some problems, okay? And I might have some problems too." But anyways, yeah, I've seen that one, the creator, that movie we were talking about. There's so many movies, man, that I find they're so hard to tell now, because I don't know. Ever since like 2020, maybe just 2020, I feel like movies have been so hit or miss to me. Like it's ferocious in the way that I feel like it's not that I hate them, but I just don't really feel like they're doing anything that's really interesting. You know, that's why I kind of watch anime, is because even though it kind of follows a formula and it's all that stuff, at least it's like, what if in like a world of magic and shit, there was a guy who just decided to get really, really fucking strong, like, and just got roided out of his mind, and then what if he did it so much that he became stronger than all the like the craziest cool spells? Like, oh, look at this complex magic, and then he just fucking throws his fist through a person's face, and they just drops them, and they're like, yeah, magic. That's a fun idea. That's a fun, like, something to play with. And a lot of shows I find, or not shows, I think TV shows are a little bit less bad about it. And they can be bad too. But I don't know. Movies are kind of a hit or miss to me. So when I see stuff, I'm like, okay, all right. It should be automatic, Grin. All my videos I upload are 14. Oh yeah. No, yeah. Sorry, Red. What do you call it? If you're uploading videos, yeah, I think so. So like if you're uploading videos to YouTube, it's really easy to make it so that the game, yeah, I started doing this with my man pal Samantha's channel a while ago because I heard the same thing. I thought you were talking about streaming. Streaming to me is a little more challenging because I'm sure I just had to flip some more switches to see. But yeah, I do know you could do it. I just don't know how you force YouTube to basically take the stream thing as 420 or 440, whatever it's called, 2K basically. Red says it was not nearly as depressing as that. Lone says also, Grin. I'm not sure if you've seen anime. No, I haven't. What is the anime winter lineup? Hit me with it. Oh, I did see it. Yeah, I did see the Moonlight. Yeah, dude, I was so excited for that one. That one I always felt like was so close to being so good, but then when like as time passes you realize no, it was pretty cool. I just wish it like digged into the things that it kind of sped past. Like I think the manga might be better in that way, but like the Moonlight fantasy anime with the dragon girl and the spire girl and then the archer essentially. I love that they had like really cool ideas. Like, oh, a lot of times when people are thrown into like a classic fantasy game or something like that, or a classic fantasy world, they seem to have this like subliminal rule of like, if you're able to survive a near-death encounter, like you barely have beaten the dragon, you're bruised and battered, you pass out, your friends or companions save you, basically like nurture you back to health, you come back like a fucking tank, like super strong, because you basically survived death. So the anime makes kind of like a play on that, but in a really clever way, where it basically takes the main character, every single time he's doing archery, he basically slows down his heart rate so slowly and shoots in between heartbeats. So he slows his heart rate so low that it basically signals to this like omnipotent AI goddess, heavenly system or whatever, that he's like almost dying. And then it gives him like an XP boost essentially every single time. But he does it every single time he shoots an arrow, so he ends up becoming like fucking godly as far as like how strong he is. And it's funny because they don't really explain like why he is kind of cracked until like at the last episode they show you that he's been doing this one thing that's been playing with this like mechanic within the world that has just made him freakish. But I wish they would have went into stuff like that a little bit more and like what's going on in that way. There's something I think Reincarnated as a Slime does really well, where it's good about pacing. Like, okay, let's do a little bit of this, let's do a bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This stream is 1080p AVC1 encoding. Yeah, that's what I mean. When I stream, when you make a YouTube video, Red, I can basically export the YouTube video in the edit to be to basically be 2K. But when I'm doing it in Twitch, there is basically 3 menus that I can do. There is basically the output encoding. Basically, it's like when you go to output, you can set like the bit rate and all that stuff, and then you can set something that says like rescale, and then you can like pin that new rescaling thing, or you can basically go to your, I think it's like video or something like that, but it's basically like what your thing is capturing. So I just don't know which one I need to change, but I can figure that out. It's probably not worth talking about, but I'll try to do that because I have heard the same thing, like where it's much better to like upscale your 1080p, like force it just so that it basically gets better privilege when it comes to the encoder that it's using, and things like that. But I have no idea how to send it basically. How to like get my OBS to do it, even though I'm sure I could figure out how to get it to do that. Lone says the other anime are solo leveling. Wait. Oh yeah, okay. I thought you said Classroom. Whenever I see Classroom, I always think Assassination Classroom, even though it doesn't make sense, because it should be like assassination and then a classroom detonates it. Anyways. Also, I'm so used to favoring my right side because the mic was right here. So if I kind of wind off and talk here, it kind of sounds weird. But I'm forcing myself to talk this way, but there's no mic here anymore. It's on my chest. Also, I probably could increase it, like make it higher up on me. Let me fix it. It's the first time I'm using a lav mic, guys, so be gentle. It's my first time. God damn it. There we go. Better, maybe-ish. There's a cord coming out of my my shit. Anyways. But yes, hopefully it sounds okay. There's just a weird black dot on my chest now. It's still... yeah, Classroom of Elite is really neat. Classroom of Elite, man, I find it was really fun to watch when I was watching it, but as time goes on, I feel like it's one of those animes you push to the back of your head to where... I don't know. It's really good. I don't know. I feel like as time goes on, I start to forget all of like the nuance of like why it was good. Whereas like I can remember a more basic story that's like, okay, it's fun. Oh, Magic and Muscle is also getting to season 2. Dude, I wonder if Magic and Muscle is gonna be the new Black Clover, because Black Clover was like a good and bad showcase. It got better, much better towards the second season. But Black Clover was like on a fucking ravenous churn rate for a while there. Black Clover was like updating every single second. It was wild. Also, what's good, Faceless? What's good, Faceless? Faceless says, my time at Sandrock is so good. Yeah, Faceless, I keep hearing from Red how good it is. I wonder if this game is going to be something they update for like a long time to come, or if this is just... like it's good, or I don't know. I feel like the game, I would love to see if they had like a map creator or a mod support, like a heavy mod support, or like a live service element maybe. By live service I mean just like, oh, maybe they make money on skins, but then, you know, they update the game constantly. Because to me it does look like a game that I would be fine if they had this art style for the next 6 years, you know? And I can't say that about a lot of games. You know, sometimes the games, they look weird. Also, did someone Discord message me? Yes, they did. Who did it? What's going on? Oh, it's Red. Okay. Red's posting that thing. Got it. Try this maybe. Codec seems to be releasing related to bitrate and output release OBS. Okay, I'll check that out, Red. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out at the end of the stream. I don't know. I find it much easier to troubleshoot when I'm like, because basically I can ping to a private Twitch server, basically, or like a private Twitch video, whereas Twitch, it's much more complicated to do a private stream to them. I also hope the Twitch VOD is looking okay. I hope it's not jittery. I'll have to check it after. But there's sometimes this like, it's good, and it kind of buckles, and then it jumps. But hopefully, we're okay. What other game are you playing, Faceless? Because have you seen the preview for Loser Ranger? It's like a Power Ranger but dark. No, is it an anime or is it like a TV series? Cause I don't know, man. I don't know why. Power Rangers to me is one of those things that I remember there was nothing, and I mean nothing, cooler than Power Rangers. Like when I was younger, maybe only second to what was the thing I was about to say? God damn it. It's like another really cool thing. But anyways, Power Rangers were really, really awesome when I was younger. Like I just thought it amazing, so cool. But as I grow older, a part of me is, it hasn't happened with some of the other stuff. It's like obviously cringe. But Power Rangers is one of those things where like as more time goes on, the more I kind of like, ew. It looks rough. It definitely played into like the childlike wonder of like, oh, Imagination Land, it's so pretty, it's so good, and yeah, rough. Rough. But I'm curious what the dark theme would be, because I don't like. That's also what I mean. Like Power Rangers, I don't really like if I were to tell you the premise of The Boys, which is basically like, it's like Justice League, except all of the heroes are fucking horrible monsters. And there's a ragtag group of humans that don't have powers. They're basically Lex Luthering these bad superheroes, essentially. I can wrap my head around that. It's like the inverse of Justice League, essentially, with some more sauce, with like humanoids killing the superheroes. Got it. It hasn't turned into that yet. It's kind of like just softly based around that premise. Anyways, the actual Boys TV series, the Amazon one. Anyways, but I don't even know what like the, and I watched a shit ton of Power Rangers. It's like the premise is like a group of random kids get like a bracelet or a belt buckle and now have access to a suit that makes them stronger or powers, and then they combine those belts and buckles into a massive colossus thing where each one of them control a limb. But what is the dark equivalent of that? Is that, I don't know what that opposite is. You know, I don't know what that is. Is it like, do they kill people? Like I can only think like, oh, they're, I don't know how to. Are we rooting for the bad guys, or is there like an entity that's gonna kill the evil Power Rangers, or is it like Power Rangers but it's like depressing? So it's like showing you the fucked up trauma of like, oh my god, I fucked up and I accidentally like crushed a whole family because I am in this giant mech suit, and any sort of like fuck up is massive. I don't know. I'm hard to wrap my head around that. Red says, I've actually been playing a lot of GTA Online personally. Oh, wow, really? GTA Online. I know you were telling me about something like that. Look, the servers are actually manageable now. But still, I would not have thought GTA Online was that. Like, I just thought it was going to be kind of weird. Like, it wouldn't be... Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, especially with maybe it's the hype of GTA 4, or like the newest one that's coming out. Maybe that's what it is. I wonder why people are going back to it. Because I have heard, people have been coming back to GTA when it comes to like these role play servers. Which, does anybody watch those? Because I find like I feel like it's definitely a massive subsect of like Twitch and streaming, and maybe even YouTube videos. But I don't know. I find it very. Like it's like I might be used to like watching Kraken, who's at least in the past was really good about like facilitating what would actually work when it comes to like an RP, which is basically you cut out any of the downtime essentially in between like you playing this character, so there's less time for the viewer to think about like he's just saying nonsense. You know what I mean? Or you play games where it's just so there's always stuff happening with the character. Like one of the ones he always played was this like weird horror game with like guys in purple or orange jumpsuits and like monsters. And yeah, he basically there was like always like a quick meetup of people or like a quick bit that could happen. Like it was just super boom, 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 boom. I feel like Twitch, or I feel like GTA Online and the whole like role play servers. I feel like I just don't. There's too much of a gap in between something happening, you know. Okay, Faceless says on the terms of the Power Rangers anime, or Power Rangers thing, it's like a dark anime. It's a dark anime where heroes beat monsters, but when a demon gets power to join heroes and try to get revenge. Okay, it's a dark anime where the heroes beat monsters, but when a demon gets power to join heroes and try to get revenge. Is this an anime? Because you said the dark anime. Okay, so I think I've seen something like this in like the sea of me watching a bunch of manhwa. I think I've seen something. There's an anime coming out that's fucking awesome. I'm really excited for it, Faceless. I think it's more of like a. I think it's called a Kaiji number 9 or Kaiji number 8 or something like that, or Kaiji number 6 or something. It's that one I think is gonna be fucking rad. It's basically like the premise is, imagine you live in a world where massive Godzilla-like creatures are constantly sieging a town or a city. There's like an elite force of troopers that go and kill everything and kill these massive skyscraper beasts, but this old middle-aged man, not old, he's like 30. He's like old, but he's kind of like, he's not like a young protagonist, which is nice. He ends up basically getting like the ability to become a kaiju, like this massive fucking, it's awesome. It's like one of the coolest character designs I've ever seen, but I can't wait for that anime to come out. But anyways, that one I think is also similar. If you want to get like that rock'em sock'em big ass creatures fucking smashing each other apart, that's kind of rad. But I don't know how to piece together this one because I thought I heard something about that similarly, where yeah, I remember there being like this weird thing where it's like a revenge story. Yeah, no, this sounds really familiar. The whole like Power Ranger thing is throwing me for a loop. I think I've seen this manhwa recap essentially, or manga recap, where it's like a hero. There's like a city of monsters. He basically becomes like a cleaner, and I think he like tries to join this thing. I do remember there being something in there with revenge. Ooh, I gotta fucking damn it. Anyways, that sounds interesting. I shouldn't say. I don't know. It sounds like I need to know more about it because I don't really get it yet. I feel like it sounds familiar from something I know. Red says, it's the hype of GTA 6. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's going to maybe come out in 2 years, so, but hopefully it's soon. But I also just really, I just really enjoy all this content solo in GTA Online. Also with friends sometimes. Yeah, I didn't know GTA Online had that much solo content. I always remember GTA Online being one of those, I think there was some solo content, but it was very apparent that it was like super meant to be done not solo, you know? Like they just kept throwing a shit ton of enemies at you that would spawn all around you and you're like, Jesus. Phaser says yes. Red says no. Game does the mix of gameplay like GTA IMO. I'm really enjoying all of the fun sci-fi and weaponization vehicles in GTA. Oh yeah. Well, GTA did do that really well. I think that was one of the things. I do think it's kind of bullshit that they made like, I don't know. There's a lot of shark cards out in the world space popping off. You know, what's good, Rasta? Rasta over at Twitch. What's good, buddy? How was your day? What are you playing? For example, one of my favorite vehicles is the Batmobile knockoff. It's like a mix of the classic Batmobile and Nolan Batman movie, Batman tank. I remember seeing there's like this rocket. It's basically like a reskin of the of like the rocket Lamborghini thing, whatever existed. But it basically was just a reskin car to make it look like Batman. So maybe it's the same thing. Faceless says it's called Sentient Dude Jessica. I'm gonna search this up real quick. All right, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe fuck it. Let me search this. I'm going to go over here. Give me a minute. I need to find a better way to search things without it being destructive. Okay. Manga. There we go. All right. What does this look like? Okay. That's exactly what you described, actually. And he's a villain? Huh. That looks pretty neat. Can you describe to me some of the villain things? Like, what makes this dark and gritty? Oh, this might be a good image to show you guys. That might be a really good image to show you guys what we're looking at. So here is, here's what I'm looking at. This might be a good image that describes the show. It's crazy. Let me see if I can. It's basically it's him. It's the guy. It's a Power Ranger with a fucking exploded person behind him and a woman that's like, okay, all right. Eek. So is like one of the people. I'll throw this gameplay back on because it's just a little bit longer. But is the soundtrack gameplay was awesome. Is the game, or is the demon guy like Homelander? Like, is that the premise where like you're part of this, you're observing this Power Ranger team,
but you're like one of the entities in the Power Ranger team is like a monster, just killing people like ravenously. Are we like in the perspective of the team, or are we an outer source, like almost identical to the boys? Oh, it's like the boys. Okay, it's before all that, Faithless says it's like the boys, but the demons are good. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so it's more of like, so it's less of like Homelander just popping off all the time and being like, ew, God, oh jeez. It's like the boys, but the demons are the good guys. Oh, okay. So are the Power Rangers bad and the demon is good, and then there's one demon in the Power Ranger team? Red says it's Red says, yeah, shark cards suck, but I'm not felt the need to buy them at all. It's very easy to make money just from playing the game. I always remember that the skew was quite difficult though. Like the skew, especially for like some of these actual cars and some of these actual buildings, it was like tons of money. But maybe they've like over the years they've basically made it so that you can make even more money now. But I remember that being quite a bit where like the money was weird, where like it would require you to like grind for like 3 weeks, not maybe 3 weeks, but it took a long time to grind versus the other stuff. It's called that, based off of manga, and yes, it's Power Rangers and Homelander. The demon is like bitch. What? Oh, it was like Butch. Oh, I see. Okay, the demon is like Butch from the got it, from the boys. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that seems like it makes sense. So like, is there a demon who goes into the Power Rangers squad? Or is it like, no, the Power Ranger squad is the fine, and then there's like these demons who are trying to kill like the best. So it's an inverse of Power Rangers. Okay, when someone says that there's a Power Ranger anime, to me it makes me feel like it's Power Rangers, but it seems like it's an anime about killing the Power Ranger. It's a better way of phrasing. He's gonna he goes incognito to bring down Power Rangers. He has a shape-shifting power and other abilities. Okay, that makes more sense. This makes significantly more sense. Okay, so it's like a perspective thing. God, I wonder if they're actually gonna make like the Power Rangers the worst, or if they're gonna make it like a perspective thing where like it's like kind of justifiable of like, hey, you know, you might be chill. Like, let's say 50% of the monsters in this anime world are chill. Are all of the other ones chill? Because if they're not chill, then it still leads us in a constant like, are we okay? Are we gonna get murdered? Or if it's just gonna be like very much like the boys, where it's like Homelander makes it so that you're like, yeah, we should kill all the superheroes. You know, I'm like, ugh. Oh God. They do a cool thing with Storm, whatever her name is, where she's kind of redeemable. For every like one person that's good in the boys, there's 50 people who are doing orgies and just horrible monstrous people, horribly monstrous people. Oh, give me tea. They are brutal. Oh, there is a trailer. Oh, she should send me that trailer. Damn it, Faithless. Never mind. It's gonna be a lot. In order to send me the trailer, you can send me the title of the video that you want, and then put like title and then the video title. That way I can click on it, because you can't send me a link because Twitch YouTube. I have it all, so people don't like fucking spam porn links. It's horrible. Even though no one has ever done that, but maybe that's because I turn it off. Okay, we'll never know. Also, this is Grand Blue Fantasy. I don't know. I was kind of into this. This game has been in development for like fucking 8 years, and it looks like a gacha game. I thought it would look a little bit more like what it... Yeah, I don't know. It looks neat. I might give it a whirl. I don't know. I think I'm more interested in Blue Protocol at this point for like my anime fix of a game, but I think... I don't know. I don't know. You see Invincible Season 2 is so good so far. Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I love Season 1. I especially now knowing that it's split into 2 parts, I probably will wait until we get to the next chunk. But have you heard about the controversy happening with Invincible Faceless? It's not really controversy, it's more of like a speculation. But one of the things that Infamous deals with is he basically meets a Viltrumite that's a woman, and the woman, I don't know the whole story, but I think she's like hyper obsessed with having like a strong baby essentially. And Infamous is like, despite him being like, at least right now in the series, him being a total bitch, and getting his fucking head kicked in most times. I think he does become the absolute like most supreme of everything. Like he eventually reaches godhood essentially, even as far as Viltrumites go. And I think she knows that, or I don't know, something. Anyways, the anime, at least in the manga, deals with something that like is very rarely touched on, but it is what happens when like basically R-word happens to a man. And yeah, they also do a good job about making it just as gross, but also it's still creepy because they don't make her like disgusting. You know what I mean? And it's this weird thing of like, if you go to comments talking about this kind of thing, where Invincible goes through being R-worded essentially by a woman. Some people are like, she could do that to me, which is kind of gross, really gross. And then other people are like, I'm really grateful. I'm really hoping that the TV people actually cover this, because this is something that's covered all the time in like every HBO show for women, etc. But in this instance, yeah, I do think they could have probably put. Again, it would have helped if they made the person like and they might do that. They may do a really good job about like, she may outwardly look kind of pretty, but if they make her awful, like just horrifically cruel, evil, disgusting, because I think that's the premise that they need to get around. It's like, it's basically that you have no interest in that from doing, you know? I don't know, it's tough. Look up, go to Loser Ranger. Yeah, I heard if they will do, yeah, it's easy. I don't know. Yeah, I hope, man. I hope they go into it, because I think we just don't see it a lot of, and I think it's an interesting premise, because a lot of people, I think, have a very messed up perspective of that, where, yeah, like, if you change any of the thing where there is this, like, weird debate when it comes to dudes, like a dude being like, oh, this beautiful woman did this XYZ thing. I think if you change it to, it's a disgusting person, and they drug you, or you just straight up, they put a gun to your head and say, like, hey, like, this is one thing that's frustrating to me, is that, like, basically, like, people, especially nowadays, especially with UFC and all these things, people basically antiquate like with strength to your proficiency in one-on-one cage duels, essentially. Like, that's your proficiency, despite that is not at all humans' way of fighting throughout the entire process of your evolution. Like, instantly humans would pick up a rock, because punching something with your fist is gonna break the most important thing you have to survive. Like, no. You'd pick up a tool, you'd either do that or you do strategy, where you like burn down a person's hut in the middle of the night kind of thing. But you wouldn't do, let me completely kill all of my options and fight in this specifically debilitating thing that only favors strength and maybe speed. You know? It's wild. And yeah, so I think it can be a good thing to do in the Invincible thing. I'm curious what it'll look like, but I'll look up that thing. Faceless. It is called, where did you write it? Loser Ranger anime trailer. I'm gonna throw up. Ooh, which one should I watch? There's one that's 50 minutes, and then there's, let's watch, I guess, this one. Sure. Oh, I hope this doesn't get copyright claimed, because sometimes there are sons of bitches that do that. This video will most likely get copyright claimed. It is whatever. Shit. Alright. We got some anime babes, and we got a... Oh, cool. Okay, so is this the main character? 5,000, I guess. Oh, it's made by the people who made Tiger and Bunny. That's interesting. It looks like a really good quality. Is it using 3D? Maybe. Oh, dude, animations get so fun. I'm happy that they're finally starting to really nail down like the 3D use case for anime, especially in the fight scenes. It looks great. It looks like it has a fucking monstrous budget because every scene looks amazing. I always get a little worried though when an anime has like really good graphics because sometimes the premise is okay. Like things suffer basically. When there's like a really beautiful looking anime, sometimes certain things get left behind, you know? Like let me put it this way. If a manga... Oh god. Okay, guys, see my fucking suggested feed. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. There's Harlequin on the top right. Shut up. What was I saying? Yeah, if you take a manga that has like amazing art, and then you have a manga that doesn't have amazing art, and they both have a mid story, which one has the higher likelihood to still succeed? The one with the better art. So sometimes the anime that looks fucking amazing, because the art's so good, but sometimes the story is kind of like, this is kind of basic. Like I love Fire Force and the concepts that are in it. But I don't think like the one-to-one storytelling is always the best, you know? Like I feel like it's on the razor's edge of like, ooh, jump into the fact that your mom was, you know, taken by this thing or is this thing, and instead it's like, fuck it, let's just have them go to this place and meet this new guy. I'm like, okay, I guess. But this looks dope. I'm surprised how good the quality looks like. It's hard to infer too much, but it does look like he has a cool shape-shifting power. I love the fact that he's a skull. I like that, like the main protagonists that are literally just skull things. I wonder if he's gonna fall in love, or if they're gonna fall in love with him, because that'd be kind of funny. Is this him? Like him smiling in this thing? Yeah, this looks good. It's definitely one of the ones I'm gonna add to the list. It definitely looks like it's probably gonna be one of those ones that's gonna be so good that I'm gonna put in the watch later list, and it's gonna be a millennia till I actually watch it. But you know, we don't need to talk about that. But I will add that one to the list, even though I'm sure Lone has already done so. Okay? At this point, I should just copy Lone's list and be like, hey, I've ghosted anime for about 3 months. Can we just, yeah? Oh. Well, Lone says, also, Grin, I did record the gameplay for Eternal Light. If you hit me with it. Hit me with it on Discord. Link it to me in the Discord, please. Also, Lone says, Grin, I would like to talk to you about the new gacha game I'm playing. It's called Echo Collapse. Why did they put a gap in that shit? Echo Collapse. And even in the new game, Santa is like a gacha having all the waifus. I see. You're saying that like in this other gacha game you're playing, Santa brought some presents. My voice did weird things there. But yes. It's like how boys first came out drama. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I tend to not enjoy any of that. I don't like when a story, because to me it's like a ludicrous argument. Sorry, oftentimes we see in stories, we had this back in Shield Hero, we had this back in like just whenever there's like a story that has subject matter that is uncomfortable to some, whether that's R-word or salt or whatever it could be, all these kinds of things. I really dislike when people basically say that like that has to be like blacked out or like taken out of this story, just because there are other things that are infinitely more fucked up that people will just accept. You know, like murder. Like most stories have somebody dying or getting killed, and people are like, it's fake. It's fake. It's not real. It's a fucking story that this person created to invoke a message or an understanding of a perspective. Or whatever, fun. So the fact that you're like, this one thing is now like too much is just crazy. Not only for like the intent and the magic of what stories can do for people, but also just the fucking craziness of the fact that bitches be dying all the time in stories. So why are you? I've always come back to this weird thing, but it's like, why is your pain and suffering more valid or more meaningful than another person's pain and suffering? You know, like why are we saving you instead of all of these other people that arguably should be saved or protected or catered to maybe to some extent? You know, things like that. I like the boys came out with the drama. The whole thing women should not get. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Lone says, also Grin, I did record the game. Oh, right, for that. Did you message me? Usually my Discord app will scream at me. He didn't message me the gameplay yet. Faceless says, I just hate when they go off the manga though. Fire Force character became a god. Is it not the same way in the Fire Force manga? Does he not get the power to like blink, essentially at the speed of light? I do find that's more frustrating just in general as far as like stories go. If you were to take a story where the main character slowly but surely earns his power and then starts stacking on top of itself to where he becomes like a god, awesome. Or would you rather have the main character get like unbelievable godlike powers sometimes when certain very specific things are met? To me, it makes my character feel like they're not actually that strong at all. They're just a slave to whatever like the timing is. It's like the most weird plot armor feeling thing ever. And yeah, but also I don't know. I get the idea that Fire Force maybe could be that way because he's blinking like 1,000,000 miles per hour, whereas he fucking flies. I don't know. Like Fire Force does make up for it, I think, in some ways, where like he eventually does get like cool ass moves, and like the show is. Like, the art direction in Fire Force is, like, just putting that whole series on its back because there's, like, a scene where he summons forth this giant, like, fire skull that just fucking clamps one of these dudes, and you're like, fuck, shit, Jesus Christ. That hits. That hits like a truck. Yes, look at a Berserk. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that one is. I was gonna say Faceless. I remember seeing a PewDiePie video way back in the day, where he mentioned that there was like a thing that happened in Berserk, and it's like the most traumatizing thing. No one needs to mention what it is for people to know what it is. All I seen over the years, I never knew what it was. I tried to like, I didn't really want to, but I tried to look in the comments, and no one really mentioned it. It was always like everyone just being silent. I think it's probably because YouTube will take away the comment that has these words in it. But all I can ever see, I haven't watched Berserk, all I can ever see like that gives me some sort of perception of what maybe is going on in that show was Berserk and this prince guy, this blonde-haired guy, are like really good friends, and then basically this blonde guy just fucking becomes an absolute monster freak demon thing. And then Berserk has like the love of his life, or he very much loves this person. And there's like this female protagonist, and then all I see is memes that have like since that's happened, since I've seen that, have been memes of like Berserk where it shows like the same like it's like the image of the Incredibles guy who's like fine, and then the image of the Incredible guy who's all like blacked out and terrible, and it's like the people who know, people who don't know, and then there's an image of a horse. So I can only infer that happened with and it's a fucking horrible nightmare. In that case, I think also the reason why people are it's equally horrible is because I think they make a point, like the author makes a point just to keep layering it on of like, he's your best buddy, he's your friend, hey, this woman, she loves you, you love him. Although I have no idea, I might have a warped perception of this. I just Lone says, it released on Thursday, and I'm currently level 13 SSRs, and on chapter 17, and my power level is 284396. You are a monster. Okay, is this the new gacha game you're telling me about? Jesus. Faza says, timing in the story, like when he fought the captain. Which captain? What, the one like when he like the captain who he basically can like pause, like he basically hits a brick wall? Which captain? Because he fought quite a bit of captains. Which captain? Basically says every act unspeakable happens. Oh, is that what happens? Every act unspeakable happens to his wife? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, jeez. So it's not even just that. It's okay. Hence that why Berserk is like, okay, it's like an unending rage. I see. Eesh. On an unrelated note-ish, just to diffuse this, but it's also kind of fucked up, so I thought I'd tell you guys about it. Okay, so I was reading this manga. Manga. It's not nearly like that. Calm down, we're okay. So in this manga, basically the manga story is dude gets isekai'd into like this like elf kid reincarnation essentially. He reincarnates into like a castle where he is like the prince, and he's like this elf kid, and he has some knowledge of like he's like really smart. He's got good skills. He's got good like really good base foundation, and he's put in a position of like relative power, which is good. He's a prince. So anyways, he ends up being like really, really clever, like really, really smart. If we fast forward a lot, we find out that like he eventually gets this, becomes like the strategist of the nation. Like he just basically, because he has a human world knowledge, he's able to like position things in a really smart way, clean up agriculture, get rid of virus because he knows how to make sewers, all these things. But one of the things they talk about is you basically can have this, have a spirit, essentially. You can make a deal with a spirit, and they can give you a massive boon. So he ends up being on the battlefield one of these days, one of the stories, and you end up finding that he has like this beautiful and, oh my god, like the most like, the most like schmexy kind of like esque art where it's like this girl with long hair, kind of shabby, fucking hella long bangs. She has a crotch tattoo. She's got like fucking bathing suit on, like more like lingerie maybe, and all that kind of stuff. And just crazy curve, all that stuff. And everyone, as soon as they drop, were like, "What the fuck is this?" Like this tiny little elf kid has got this fucking what is going on spirit. And she's basically all to do with illusions, and she can help him like basically like do some strategy stuff where she hides his army and does it's neat stuff there. We end up finding out that she is in fact not a spirit, and in fact she is the sin lust. Now you're watching this, you're reading this manga, and you're like, oh shit, how the hell did that come to be? How the hell did the main character get the god of lust, who, by the way, is basically just a succubus? The way she takes payment is exactly the way you think, or you think. So yes, but what ruined it super bad is when they show the moment where he meets the spirit of whatever god, demon of lust. She basically like puts him into a trans fucking dream-like state, and then they end up doing it, which is already kind of real sus. If he wasn't reincarnated, fully grown man in a body that is, yeah, it'd be even more weird. But at least he's a conscious man. She's the creep, if anything. Anyways. So, what ends up happening though is when they're done doing the thing, the manga guy basically cuts and she's like, I'm not done, I want to do some more fun things. She pulls out a trunk filled with various, things, stuff, but what's awful is that she has a bug-like creature also there. And so that infers a lot. Like, why is the bug-like creature here? What is that about? I don't want this. What? Okay. All right. So, anyways, it cuts, and then it cuts to him current day, and he says, "I still can feel them writhing around in my stomach." He says that, and I'm like, it immediately took like a really smexy character that they were showing, like, oh, look at this, all that stuff, and immediately made me go, she's awful. What a monster. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, no. And I immediately rejected it. I've never, and no one mentioned it, by the way. Clearly people who are delusional who didn't want to acknowledge, like, listen, man, it wasn't like he was getting things and it was, yeah. Not good. And you also understand why the character's a little numb, because Jesus Christ. Anyways, I thought, what a horrible way to ruin like a cool character that was supposed to be provocative, and instead they're like, no, God no. Anyways, it's funny because like it's so fucking weird. Manga people are so fucking weird, dude. Because the whole manga is fine. Like the whole thing, he's totally chill. He's a good person, and they have like this one weird variable, like weird ass variable. And it's so many times mangas would do that where like, hey, it's fun, it's nice. And then they'll be like the random, like just the fucking manga guy will choose violence, and he'll be like, hey, by the way, you know, like the person who like the main character was kind of like jiving with really well, like really good. Well, guess what? Here's a scene that shows her blowing another dude or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? What's going on? Stop! Why, God? This is fucking no NTR me right now, okay? This is a normal fucking wholesome book. God damn you. And it's just awful. It's just fucking the worst, man. Anyways, but yeah, the same thing happened in this one where I was like, just stop. Why? It was fine. It's like, and again, there is nothing in the book that's like this. It's like, it's really wholesome actually the whole time. He has like this childhood elf friend who's like he loves, and he clearly schmoozes on her and she schmoozes on him. It's very cute. She like pushes him to actually give a shit about this world and all that stuff. And meanwhile, he's like, yeah, but unfortunately, I got by a succubus thing, and now yup. And I'm like, this is awful. Okay, I could have also not had this. I mean, in some weird, like, super obscure way, it does make sense why, like, he has this unfucking believably powerful summon, essentially, like this spirit, essentially. So maybe they're trying to, like, the author was like, no, I need to describe a way in which this can validate why, like, he has such a powerhouse. You don't need to do it that way. You can do it fucking any other way, man. Gah. Anyways. Also, if you want to send me that thing, I'm not sure if you already have that Eternal gameplay thing. If you want, or if you want to save it for another stream, you can do that too. Lone says, nah, Grin, I'm not a monster. A guy in my guild had over 1 million powers, so I know he had to drop a stack on that game. Dude, that should not be the baseline. The baseline should not be people who are spending money. The baseline should be people who are doing as much as they can without dropping a fortune, okay? That is the baseline. We shouldn't judge ourselves by billionaires. There's billionaires. You don't even have $1 million. What are you talking about? Yeah, Red says, right? Fucking not okay. Why can't we just have nice things, okay? Insect Harada it's the worst. There's so much bad in this whole thing. Like, we don't need to even get into how horrible, like, yeah. That's my one thing. Dude, also fucking damn it. God damn it. On a side note, this is something interesting. I was looking at this thing. I was gonna actually bring this up to you guys a little bit. That thing right there, that's fucking, what's his name? That is, more plates, more dates guy. He's kind of one of these like bro dude people in YouTube land. It's fine. It's fine. But I will say that's something that fucked me up a little bit, man. I seen something that, like, you know when you hear something that is so fucking brutal that like you're almost like, this is clearly woo-woo. Like, I thought the same thing when I seen someone doing cupping. Like, you know when they put like a suction cup to your body. There's like zero evidence that's helping at all, and like the only thing it's doing is like breaking your blood vessels and bringing your blood up to your body, but it's not actually, at least from everything I've seen in terms of like actual like people trying to see if this has an effect on recovery or anything like that. It doesn't. Massages do. They can see that, like, okay, we've done this with a bunch of people, and they've clearly had an uptick in what do you call it? Physical strength or physical recovery. But I remember seeing this thing that I thought was crazy, where people are like taking these tiny little needles and stabbing their like cheek essentially, or not, they're like to get like a beard essentially. It's for people who don't want grow a beard. They basically do like these micro little needle stabs. And I guess it forces your body, your skin to basically repair itself. And it almost like kicks your skin cells into start to recovering. So people who are basically losing or don't have any, what is it called? Beard, essentially, that can get them the ability to grow a beard, which I thought was interesting. But then this is one, and this is for like people who have hair loss. Apparently, you use that pin to like basically stab your what's it called, hairline, and then you use it like minoxidil, or whatever it's called, the thing that grows hair, and that can actually actually have you have an effect of potentially growing your hair, because that whole thing is like some things will work, some things won't. But I just thought it was one of the most it's one of the worst things that are seemingly really true. Like, the data and research seems to be like where it's fucked up, but if you stab yourself in the head with this little needle thing, it does seem to cause your body to kind of like almost like breaking, like when you're exercising, like breaking down your muscles, your muscular structure. you're technically damaging yourself, but that's causing your body to repair itself, and then that can actually bring it back stronger or almost more healthy, which is weird, but I guess it's the same thing that can be argued for your skin and your hair cells, or like your hair stems, whatever they're called. But I remember when I seen it, I was just like, this is one of those things where like, if you were to do it, it'd be one of the things where I'd find it's the hardest to explain ever. Like, yeah, I'm doing tiny little stabs in my scalp, and then putting a cream on it that helps pull my hair, reset my hair length thing, whatever it's called. And I'm like, Jesus. I will say, dude, I personally, just honesty, I am on finasteride, I think. No, not finasteride. It's a cream. It's Rogaine, whatever it's called. I do that a little bit. But I've been getting hosed, dude. I've been getting fucking goddamn Rogaine from motherfucking the pharmacy, and shit was $200 every like 4 months, which is not as bad when you take it all into consideration. Anyways, but you can buy that shit on like fucking Amazon for like $30, and it seems like all the reviews are like, yeah, it's not bad. It's not worse. And I'm like, what? Because I don't need it to foam. I know foam helps with dandruff. So I don't have dandruff. I just want to, yeah, for $30 opposed to what is essentially like $60 per can. Fuck off, dude. Jesus Christ, disgust me. Anyways, I know it says that. Yeah, I thought it was one of those things that to me it is interesting because of how like, eesh. Oh God, jeez. I feel like that's a little barbaric. Stab on your skin. But apparently it also works like, I'm not sure if you guys ever heard that, but they're called like vampire facials. I remember I used to always see like weird ads for them where it's like a woman who has like blood spots all over her body or her face. But I think it's the same premise as that, except instead of your hairline, you're basically like wrinkles. So you're basically like damaging your skin within like a parameter that basically doesn't cause any actual significant wounding. It just basically damages the top layer of your skin, so where it can actually like start to repair, like send reparative cells up your skin thing without scarring. And doing that over like once a week, I think they said, basically allows your skin to repair itself, which it's weird. I kind of get it, but again, I can't get past the fact that it seems a wee bit barbaric, you know? Red says, my problem is too much hair, lol. Shave it is annoying. Yeah, some people have that. Are you one of those people, Red, that have like what do you call it? It's basically like, I remember it was crazy. I seen this, it's like a TikTok video or something like that. But it's like this girl talking about how like some girls and some people just have really thin hair. But then this girl showed that she you can have the opposite. You can have the most, like the tiniest little pattern of hair follicles, because she was like showing her hair, and it was like just so much hair threads. Like I can't even describe it because it doesn't sound right, but like, yeah, like if I can easily part my hair and you can see that there's like a crack into your skull. Where when she did it, you could clearly tell that it was just like, and it must have so much fucking volume because there's so many like threads, there's no space for it to really sit. So it's all stacked on top of each other. So I just thought, fuck me, man. But some people have that weird like double layered hair stems essentially. Oh, my chest. Ugh. I'm sorry, I keep touching you guys' earlobes. Hey, how are you? I feel like I had stuff I wanted to talk to you guys. Oh, I had this. Okay, so this is something I wanted to bring to you guys a little bit. I didn't know how, I had a thought this week. My hair is thin and light. Oh, I see, okay. Ramon says, oh damn, I just noticed we've been streaming for an hour and a half. Where does the time go? I know, it's weird, it's crazy. Okay, this is a good thing to talk about. This is a good time to talk about this. Maybe not. This is arguably one of those things that I should keep to myself, but in the hope to be honest and also basically just constantly say what you believe in the hopes that you can actually understand yourself and all these things. All that. I had this thought yesterday, and I wanted to run it by you guys. I actually kind of want to run it by Fluff too. Well, maybe he's hearing this in the background, but I thought it was a really interesting thing in terms of everyone can everyone can say a certain thing and like understandably rationalize some things, but your initial like impact feeling can still be like different than your maybe possibly rational mind. So one of these things that I actually experienced was weird this week was basically I had a little bit of time and I was watching like something like quick, just so I could not waste too much time. And it was basically a video of this VTuber who I've seen kind of in the background a little while. I think she had a new model, which is why I clicked on the video. I was like, oh, this is cute. What is this about? And I watched one video, and then I think later that night, they also, like, because YouTube constantly signals to the algorithm, they started sending me a bunch of her clips. And I thought, oh, cool. And there was this one clip where I basically, there was like a quick joke about what she looked like, which she was very pretty, but then also the fact that she at some point maybe pursued OnlyFans essentially at some point. This was in relation to her basically talking about how people only judged her for looking pretty and all that stuff, and she was a very pretty girl. But anyways, to me, I had this weird like double take. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but there was like this weird double take thing that was happening in my head. One of them, and I wanted to kind of present this to you guys because I thought it was interesting. I think a lot of us, maybe not all of us, but I think a lot of us, when it comes to OnlyFans, it's like, okay, this exists. Like, if you had a friend, like a female friend that you've known for a little bit, and she was doing this, I'm sure, like, if you're anything like me, I'd be like, I don't care. I just don't. It doesn't involve me. It doesn't affect me. At best, I would probably be like, do you know like what you're getting into? Like, you could get some creepos, but largely, it's not my life. I'm not gonna breathe for you. Why would I start to do this for you? You know, I might offer some like perspective things, but that's about it, right? I think most of us would be in that same category of like, I don't know, I might feel a certain way about it, but I might keep some of that stuff to myself. You know, it's not my life, it's not my body, whatever, right? And I can justify that in my head. I can make sense of that. Now, if I were to say that, hypothetically, say you guys are all like me, you have that same feeling of like, whatever, dude. I may not be into it. I may not understand it. I may think there's some cost to it, but it's not my body. You do whatever you want. Say we're like that. Now, say it was your girlfriend. Okay? Say it was your girlfriend who did this. Okay? Now, hold that for a minute. Some people, I think there's two camps. I think there's one camp where one person's probably like, yeah, no, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it at all. And then there's another camp of person who's probably like, what kind of stuff she's doing? Is she doing like lewd cosplays, or is she doing like with other people? No, no, I'm not okay with that. I'm in camp of I don't like it, whatever it is. I don't like any of it. I might be a greedy man, okay, but I don't like any of it. So, okay, I had the way of basically rounding all this out, and the same thing could be said for like, okay, now what if you had a daughter, okay? Now, again, same thing in the same premise of like, okay, you know, it's not your life. They can do whatever they want to do. They're their own person. They can make their own positive choices or negative choices, whatever you want. But now, hypothetically, say this is your sister or mother. How do you feel now? I think a lot of us are like, not in. I'm not in. I don't like it at all. I wish no. Please stop. No. I think some of us are like that, especially with mom and stuff like that. Regardless of what it is, when it comes to your parents, like, no, please. So anyways, this had me kind of coming to this conclusion of like, and I don't really want to, this is why I kind of feel weird about it, because I don't think it's like, I'm sure it would not be a very nice thing to hear. Like, if you were a person who made this choice, like a woman who made this choice, which by all means, your choice to make. Also, I forgot to do this one thing. Give me a sec, sorry guys. I forgot to pull up the Twitch chat, and I hope it wasn't, no, good. No one's messaging anything on the Twitch chat. Anyways, so, I had this thought of like, okay, this is, you know, I don't think this would be a nice thing to hear a person say, because it's not like I'm perceiving you as lesser, and that's kind of what I'm going back and forth in my head of like, is this the thing where like, am I subconsciously like, not prejudiced, but like have a judgment about this kind of thing? And what I came back to, which kind of made me feel a little bit less like I hated myself, but I was kind of like, I hated myself. I just felt like, maybe that's not a good thing to have like this internal judgment about someone else's choices. Especially when like they're not evil, you know, they're not like, it's not like a cruel or evil thing. It's a choice that they made. But to me, especially when it comes to like a romantic thing, I was like, okay, well, if you are 100% into the relationship, and that is like, you're not out here doing things like that may basically showcase to the world a side of yourself that maybe it's romantic, maybe it's thoughtful, that you keep exclusive towards your partner. If you were doing that with everyone as well, then yeah, maybe it would be less of a big deal. But if you're committing that aspect to the relationship, you're not talking about your your deeds, you're not talking about their deeds, you're kind of keeping everything private, then it feels like an imbalance when they're doing that. And that felt weird. And then, to me, I had to go back to like what was my initial feeling of this whole like weird VTuber thing, where I found out that they had like beforehand they had a career, or not a career, but had like a little moment on OnlyFans. And I was like, what was it about that made me feel like a little bit like, because it's their choice. It's not, yeah. What I came to is, how do I put it? Basically, it's very odd when you see something that I guess you determine that should be quite private, like a person talking about like basically all of this is like how do I put this properly? Yeah. It's kind of strange to say, but basically you're seeing someone be like slutty and all these crazy things, which I guess in my deep head, maybe this is a fucked up problem with me, which I don't want to change. I want to keep it this way. Where you, yeah, like you're basically showcasing like maybe a private, a thing that you determine would be nice to keep private, and you're basically giving that to everyone, and it makes you feel like, oh wow, I didn't expect to see this, you know? It doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person, but there is this like abrasion to me. I wonder what you guys think about that, as far as like that whole thing goes. Because to me, it's like I don't like to have this passive judgment towards people at all. But at the same time, it does make me feel like how do I put it? Like I don't know. Maybe it's just like your upbringing, but like that stuff to me, it makes sense when you keep that stuff private. You know, and when you see someone asking, especially when you see someone who's like really wholesome and like sweet and all these things. Doing something that is not so private, and it's also just completely contradictory to all of those things, it makes you things like, wow, this is a lot of like weird signals to kind of take in, especially when like, I don't know, maybe it's because like I see this person as like this sweet VTuber person I've seen for a while, and then them be like real slutty on this one place, because by the way, I scrolled down to the comments because you got it. I don't know. It's like it's a fucking morbid curiosity, but you're like, what is this? Is this a joke? Because it kind of seemed like a joke. It was not a joke. It was absolutely not a joke. I didn't pay for anything. I just had to be like, is this a real thing? Oh, it's a real thing. And then I walked away because it starts to get weird. You know, I know I'm curious because some people in our community, I'm sure have like an understanding of Harada, and also. I can remember hearing Red say something where like the West is very weird when it comes to sexual relationship and stuff like that, but this is kind of a different thing where it's almost like sharing something that I guess in my weird old mind is supposed to be private with everybody is a strange thing. And again, I think that's also like the one thing that is one of those things that's probably an uncomfortable conversation. That if you did have a female friend that was maybe thinking about something like this, and that's the one thing I keep coming back to is, if I did have one of those friends, I'd probably be like, are you prepared that this could be a very like a potential big thing for your future partners? Like they may not really be into this. Like you may be cutting your like the people who would have it. Like let me ask you guys this: would you guys date somebody who had an OnlyFans, basically? I think there'd be a higher probability that people would basically, how do I put this? I think there'd be a higher probability that people who would date people with OnlyFans would be the kind of people that would probably not want to settle down and have like a big family and a bunch of kids and etc. I think just on average, maybe not completely, but on average, there would be a higher lean towards people who just want to kind of party, mess around, have some fun, being people who would be interested, and then the people who would want a long-term relationship, etc., will probably stray away from those kinds of things, you know? All right, let me catch up. Red says, I don't have a problem with OnlyFans or other relative sites. IMO, it just tells me they are comfortable with that subject, which I like for a person. Okay. Especially in this day and age where society has lost its backbone and frowns upon any kind of sexualization, mostly in the West, I mean. The East seems more comfortable with the subject. Yes, it will. Yeah, so to me, it's interesting that, because to me, I don't think it's necessarily a sexualization thing. To me, it's more of like how do I phrase it properly? It's like a privacy thing, you know? Like to me, I don't think, like I personally don't have any interest in letting people know what I'm into necessarily. Like I may make a joke or like a one thing, but not like, here's exactly like, I don't show people me jerking off or something, like, you know, like these kinds of things. Like that's something that people intimately do. These are like in private moments that I don't do. And I like Red, would you do that? So like to me it's a weird, I mean, maybe your still thing is, yeah, but I wouldn't do that, but that doesn't mean I necessarily couldn't like someone who does. And I don't know, I find it to be this weird thing. I gotta go back to, I think I'm a greedy man, which is good. Like I don't think good, I think it's like whatever you are, you know. I don't want to share my partner in any capacity really. Well, I should say that. If you have a parent, I want to keep the sexualization aspect of your relationship private between you two. Does that make sense? Like I don't. So to me, having a person who has basically shared a chunk of that with not just like a 20 partners, let's say it's a high person who has been with a bunch of people. It's instead like hundreds of thousands of people who are seeing all of these private things. That I think it's maybe nice that you are given all those private things, almost as like kind of like, hey, you know, I'm giving all this stuff to you. Maybe Red will push back and say this is an archaic way of like thinking about, you know, giving this to you. Who are you to ask of this? I don't know. The perspective things are difficult for me in this one because I do have like my initial feeling, which is basically like that I don't really like it. Like if I had a girlfriend who randomly let's say you were dating for like 6 months and you find out that she was doing that, even if she did that in the past, I think if she did that in the past it'd be a little bit more of like, okay, I don't love this. I think this is kind of I wish you would have told me, and also it's frustrating because I couldn't really make a proper choice. You know, does that make sense? Also, CNR bringing this back to the game. Can't wait till Grand Blue Fantasy comes. Yeah, man, what do you call it? Is it going to be... I don't really know what kind of game it is. Is it a gacha? Is it just like an RPG anime game? What is there to do? I heard some people say that the questing system is a little odd. Like it's not really like a questing game. It's kind of like you just go into like instances and then fight. But yeah. It looks beautiful. It looks like a beautiful game. It also looks like maybe it has too much shit going on. Like there's tons of particle effects constantly popping off. It's like dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. Red says, no, not that would ever happen. I feel like those types of women are out of my league. Yes, I feel like that's a weird one to me. Like I wouldn't perceive a person who would be on Hadada, OnlyFans, I guess, would be a bonus thing for a lot of people. Like I don't think a lot of people would be like, yeah, the fact that you've done this would, I don't know. So there'd definitely be some people who would be like, I'm into this. This is it makes it, it's normally a 5, it makes it an 8. I think for a good bit of people also it'd be like, okay, I don't know. And it could, if it could be like an insecurity thing on my end or other people's end as well. I don't know. It just, to me, it feels like a person, like I don't know. I guess my weird brain wants to say, well, I want all of this person. Like I want to have all this person. I don't want to have to share this person, especially private things with other people. You know, maybe that's selfish. Maybe you're like, you don't own this person, but I guess in a relationship, I kind of do think you do. I think you give yourself to a person in a sense. Maybe this is like an old way of thinking. I don't know. But yeah. Also, not a lot of people reply when I said, when I gave examples of like, would you be this? Except for Red, which I appreciate Red putting himself out there. Red says, I would not know. While I'm comfortable with the subject, I would am also not attractive enough to okay, but you're saying if you were though, if let's say in a random thing you were, I don't think you should look down on yourself, but yes, well, let's say you would, because that's another thing I've heard from a lot of people who this is just like a kind of an interesting cool down topic, but people talk about like, oh well, if you had the ability to insert how much money on any sort of site, wouldn't you totally do it? And a lot of people be like, I would totally do it. And I don't know. As much as I get I get it. Like I totally get it. In terms of like money is important. You need money. I don't know. I don't know. Like I wouldn't want to make money, but at the same time, I do feel like in my head I'm given that piece of privacy that I would like to give to only maybe a handful of people to everybody. You know, and there's a reason why that's maybe a cost. Why there's a price to that, I guess, you know? I don't know. And again, it's not that like I have, like, again, it's weird because it only, like, this is the thing that's strange for me, Red, it only interacts when it's a relationship thing. Like, when it is a friend, I have zero judgment in my heart. You can do whatever you want. I could talk to you openly about all of these acts, these things, these whatever. I have no judgment in my heart at all when it comes to everything that's not the relationship. If it's a friend, if it's an acquaintance, if it's a person, if it's a whatever, none of that equates into to how I feel about it. It's only when it's now like me and you building a future together that to me, now it starts to feel a little weird, you know? I don't know. It's tough for me. It's hard to describe. C the R says, sorry, I missed part of the conversation. What exactly are we discussing? Oh, it's a little bit of a weird deep cut, basically. C to the R. I would call you C. It's a lot to go through. We're basically talking about, I had this thing where I seen this VTuber who I've been watching for a while. She's wholesome and whatnot. And I found out that she actually had, at some point in the past, and I think she may still have, an OnlyFans. And I had this weird response in my head of like, oh, wow. Yeah, it's like kind of like a weird, like it surprised me basically. And it also left me feeling like a little like, and I don't know, it made me feel a little bit conflicted in a weird way. And then I had to ask myself a bunch of questions where basically I was like, you know, if I had a female friend who wanted to pursue, you know, OnlyFans or any of these kind of weird site things, I wouldn't judge them. I wouldn't feel anything. I maybe would just tell them that there's like some cost to it, but you know, it's your body. I'm not going to breathe for you, so you can do whatever you want. But then I changed the question to, okay, well, what happens if you had a girlfriend that was doing OnlyFans? And then of course I made the joke of basically being like, I think there's two camps. One, people who would be like, what kind of OnlyFans? Are they doing it by themselves with like cosplay, or is it like with other people because that's too much? Or would it not matter at all and you would just not like it across the board? I tend to be the person who wouldn't like it across the board. And then I kind of had to go into why that might be and all those kinds of things. And yeah, it's basically just a conversation of like, you know, and the same thing basically could be said of if you had like a sister or a mother, would you care? So the kind of the underlying question of OnlyFans, is it something that you would judge? And then in my heart or in my mind, I would say absolutely not. It's not my body. It's not what I need to do. It's your. Do whatever you want. It's your thing. Like I'm not going to breathe for you. So why would I make this choice for you, or why would I judge this for you? But then simultaneously, if I put myself under pressure and I say like, okay, what if your daughter decided to do this? And I'd be like, I'm not in love with that. What if your mother decided to do this? I'm really not okay with that. Okay, what if your wife or your fucking, what is it called? Your sister or something like that. Like all of these variables, and you're like, I wouldn't like it at all. I would really hope that it would not do that. And then, so then I have this like passive judgment that I've tried to understand, and which doesn't really exist unless it is, like the only judgment I have is if you had a partner, like an actual committed relationship, or, you had like a friend or a family member, a family member, I mean. Because I think the family member thing is more about like, there is a cost to doing this. Like I think, again, in my head, I think like, I think you would be cutting the relationship pool you have for committed relationships quite a bit in half. Like probably in half for if you were to pursue something like this. Doesn't mean you're a bad person who pursues this. I just don't think a lot of people enjoy that you are giving something that is maybe for them perceived to be a very private thing to other people. Especially when your partner is also not giving that. If you're also like doing some sort of weird OnlyFans thing as a dude, and you meet a girl who's also doing it, then that absolutely makes total sense. You should have no prejudice or no sort of weird thing. But if you if you have this there, if you haven't been doing that, then it feels like a weird imbalance where like they're doing something and you're not doing it, and that kind of feels like it's again an imbalance where you feel like you're losing something and they're not, which maybe shouldn't be how you look at a relationship. I don't know. This is where I kind of we're gonna get in weird things. That's a quick up to speed thing on the conversation. Red says, I get it, Grin. Lone says, I understand you. Thank you, Lone. To me, it's one of those weird things where like I don't. it's weird that I can like pinpoint that like it's only in these two instances, you know, and I don't know what that really means, you know. The reason why I bring it up is because it makes me feel kind of bad, because it doesn't make me feel bad for feeling the way that I do, because I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm okay with something like that, because it's something I guess I feel enough to where I feel strongly enough to where I don't want to feel a different way. But at the same time, I do think it would be something that, like, if you had a female friend who is hearing this and she was doing this, I think it would make them feel bad. I don't think they would like the idea of hearing how, you know, people may, it's like percentages. So like I don't think everyone feels the way I do. You know, I think there's definitely a group of people who would be like totally into it, cool with it, etc. And I don't like the fact that maybe I'm coming across judgy on people, you know. But I guess it's because in the context that when it comes to family and when it comes to your relationship, these are things where you are intimately involved in, like, you cease to become one person, you know, like you become a consolidation of these two people. So you're how you feel and how you perceive things, I think it means something in that regard. Rather than like, I don't want to judge people because I don't have to live their life. I don't know what they've been through. I don't have to breathe. I don't want to breathe for them. Meaning, if I'm going to, you know, throw things at them like, you need to do this, you need to believe in what I believe, you need to do all this stuff, then you're basically breathing for them. So you have double the load to kind of carry, unless you don't breathe for them, which you can't and you shouldn't and not. Anyways, sorry. C to the R says, oh, this is Chris. What's good, Chris? Your OG said, no way, the Chris, like Chris, yeah, it's Chris. I see you. Sorry, it's just your profile pic looks like it could be something else, but I see a face in there. What's good, Chris? From your Borderlands, yeah, I know you, Chris. No, I would never forget about you, Chris. Man, yeah, Chris has been there for a while. Chris always pops in, like a little pulses. Every now and again, we're like, what's good? I'm like, what's good, Chris? Oh, fuck, I think Chris was actually there from, like, straight out the hop. Like, yeah, I remember us doing, I made one video that was hella cringe one time. It was like a podcast. It was terrible. I remember I had one comment on that video and it was Chris, and I was like, Chris, you shouldn't have watched this. God damn it. And it wasn't even the podcast that some of you guys who are OG are thinking about. It's not the Impossible World podcast I made. It's an older podcast. Ooh, it wasn't even a podcast. It was me rambling in my room like a psycho. Anyway, sadly, I don't know. Sadly, I don't have a sister, but I can imagine. I can't imagine I'd be happy with her or my kids. Yeah. See, to me, it's like, again, I talked about this, Chris, where I was like, I don't want to judge anybody. I'm like, you know, do you live your life? Yeah, but then when I bring it close enough to my circle, it kind of becomes like, no, I don't like this. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about that. We're like, again, I think everyone's like, yeah, man, like, I got nothing to do with me. Go ham. But at the same time, when you bring shit close enough, you're like, hold up, wait a minute. Can we, maybe we, never mind. Fuck this. I'm old school. I don't feel comfortable with this. Oh. C to the R says, you helped me finally beat Pyro Pete by grenade jumping into the house. Oh shit, no way. Oh right, oh yeah, fuck, I remember that. Yeah, man, Borderlands was so weird. So weird. I remember there was so many things in the Borderlands community that was like, Borderlands 2 especially was one of those games that like shouldn't have worked so well. But the community found like these cute little things they could do that made like a massive difference. Like, again, grenade jumping, where like you would just basically tank the shit out of your damage when you're high level, to where like it would take 100 damage, but if you're level 50, it wouldn't matter. So then you could do these weird like things where you could jump and just get just enough to clear out certain things. Again, Borderlands was one of those games that was played way too much, like just so much so that people started mapping out everything. And then there was like a weird esports speedrunning type of thing that evolved in there too. So people were finding all these like quick little skips, and it was weird. It was Borderlands 2. I don't know if there will ever be like a community or a game that was like it at that time. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, my voice is a little hoarse. Lone. Next time we'll have to look at that gameplay. I will check out that damn art you said you just made. Also, guys, I can walk around I can walk around my goddamn room and still communicate with you guys, which is the whole thing. I think it has like 200 feet range, but yeah. Oh, I really hope I don't forget to open up Red's message so it tells me about the bitrate thing. Where are we going? The fluff, no, the loan. It was in our community. There we go. Brothers Grimm. Art tab. Oh, I love it, Lone. Also, it looks like, oh my god, Lone, it looks so good. It looks like it also has that like charm. Also, this might break it. Let's see. Did it break? No, yeah, it did break. We're gonna go with this one still. Okay, shit. But that's Lone's art. Lone, I love it. It looks really neat because of the fact that it has like this. How do I put it? It's like this, especially in like a frame. Also, I love the back crackle. His arm going into like the power stuff, looks hella good. Also, I think it definitely, what do you call it? You can see that you predominantly draw women as well, because the girl's eyes and smile and stuff looks great. And yes, not that the other thing doesn't look good too, but I'm just saying the girl looks mighty good compared. Let's do this video. But yeah, no, I love the fire and everything. Again, to me, I understand, because I think when you, like, especially nowadays, we're getting into a weird thing where like digital art, like it's kind of getting easier to make something look really like fucking ferociously polished, like crazy detailed. Comparatively to something that looks more like artistically drawn. Like there are flaws, but the flaws actually make it more endearing because everything is so, what do you call it, freakishly accurate at this point, uncanny valley accuracy, you know? And I think that's only gonna get kind of worse, but although maybe they'll be able to like emulate essentially like a unique skill level and also being at that certain thing. But I got a round of applause for Lone, still getting after it when it comes to drawing. But ladies and gentlemen, I unfortunately can't hit the ending screen, so I'm going to awkwardly get up and scroll down and then hit ending, which is cringe. But anyways, I'm hoping the stream was okay. I will try to do the encoding thing that Red has sent me, if I can manage it. Well, fingers crossed. We'll probably test this out on the Thursday stream. But hopefully everything looked okay. We're good, we're groovy, we're streaming, we're happy about it, all that stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully I can see you on Thursday. There is a video on the My Palace of Madness channel. There are two. One video I worked really hard on and didn't pop off, which is unfortunate. But I think it's also just because it's our first Vertigo, it's our first Vertigo video, and there's something that's innate within YouTube, which is unfortunate. But I think when you title a video a title like Bone Lab or Vertigo, YouTube perceives that video as being like vastly different from all of your other content, which maybe is fair, but also kind of annoying because they're like, well, wait, this video is just as good as the other. It's weird. Anyways, there's also a quick video of us like just looking at a cool map that's really neat. It's like kind of an uncanny valley weirdness. But yes, Red says, looking good, Grim. See everyone. Lone says, see everyone. We're going to say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for your time. Lone does say before I leave, he says, it was my first time adding a glow effect, an illumination light source. I think it came out great. Yeah, especially the hand. I noticed my especially when like it's fun with colors and stuff like that, but my eye went towards the dude's hand because of the bright color. Like something about glow and stuff like that plays really well with that. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully I can see you once again on Thursday. Appreciate you so much, and goodbye. Look how tiny that text is. It's so small. And ending. At least that works. That's nice. Whew.